Here we go. Good afternoon or good evening, and welcome to Waking God's Child YouTube channel. I hope you guys can hear this because we're streaming. Both of us are streaming from our computers today. We will be discussing Morgellons versus Warriors, which is what we are. I am praying that this is working right now because for whatever reason, the internet, I have force on my computer, but I see a delay in me, especially when I'm in side-by-side screen to you. So let's welcome guest host. Andy, can you hear me okay?
I can hear you fine. You hear me?
I hear you great. It's funny because looking on the computer here, watching, it looks like we're both kind of like moving in slow-mo, like, wait for me, I'm coming. Okay, so you told me some good news today. I was wondering if you'd share that with everyone else about, your visit with your nurse practitioner, I believe it was.
Right. So, it was Wednesday. It was Wednesday, actually. And, I worked so hard on getting all my lesions cleared up, which, everything worked out really good with that. And then all of a sudden I started breaking out in these, like strange widespread rashes. I don't know. Hold on if I could get it over there. Yeah. This arm has been like so messed up, but, anyway, so, and then I also had it around my neck, and I've been having to wear like bandana. You want me to go ahead and talk? Lisa. Wow.
Satan works wonders, doesn't he?
There you go. I hear you now. You hear me?
Yay! Okay. What I was saying, Satan surely works his wonders, doesn't he? See you on the screen, but no, it's just me on the screen. This is such bull right now. Hold on. Yeah, there we go. There we go. All right, dear, I see you, and I'm just not touching the buttons because, like I said, Satan has, his ways of ruining everything in our life to be allowed. Not today, Satan, not today. So back to your story. I'm sorry about that.
So anyway, they had gave me a prescription for this steroid cream over a year ago. It's called clobetasol, and the tube was like, completely empty. So I was trying so many different things on my arm because I was so miserable. I was a wreck. And so I pulled out that tube, and it was, like I said, it was bone dry. So I got a pair of scissors and I cut it open and I scraped what I could out and I put it on my arm, and I was like, oh my God, I was finally able to sleep that night. So that was Tuesday night. So I got up Wednesday morning, put some more on there, and it felt better. It was looking better. And I'm like, oh, that's crazy. So I remembered I had such a hard time trying to find it before because it was so expensive and nobody had it in stock. And so anyway, so I called the pharmacies first. I just called the first pharmacy to make sure they had it, which they did. It was CVS. And I was like, oh, thank you, God. So then after that, then I called my dermatologist's office and said, do y'all have any openings today? I've got to get in there. I need this prescription really bad. And, they were like, well, we can get you in at 3 o'clock. So anyway, I got in there at 3. And they told me I would see the nurse practitioner. So I was like, oh boy, even though I've talked to my doctor about all this, my dermatologist, when I had to see the nurse practitioner, I was a little nervous. I always get nervous at those. And so, I get in there and she's like, okay. So she's like, so what are you here for today? I said, basically I have this widespread rash. I've got it on my arm. I've got it on my neck. It's, and it's, I can't sleep. It's itching. It's burning. It's burnt my skin. And I'm like, there's no blisters or anything. And I said, but, it's just very, very miserable. And I asked her, I said, do you remember me? She's like, what kind of sort of? I was like, yeah. I said, I was the one that came in here and told y'all that I had the toxic amino methylphosphonic acid in my body. And she's looking at me, and I said, yeah, a toxic ingredient they add to the glyphosate to degrade the glyphosate. It degrades it. So I said, my doctor sent me for all kinds of cancer scans and everything. Everything came back negative because this other additive that they add to it actually hides all this stuff. So, I can't get a diagnosis for anything. And so I just got this stuff in my body. I had my hair analyzed, and that's how I found out. And she's like, oh, she's like, so she's like, what are you here for today? I was like, well, y'all gave me this steroid ointment, a while back. And I said, I managed to cut the tube open last night and just put a little bit on there and I put some more on this morning. I said, it helped a lot. I said, but, it's still there. I said, I need to get a refill on that. And then she said, well, what are you doing about your lupus diagnosis? And I said, well, first of all, I've been diagnosed with everything up underneath the sun. I said, I've been diagnosed with lupus. I've been diagnosed with severe osteoporosis. I've had kidney problems. I've had gastrointestinal problems. I have lesions on my brain. I was like, I've been diagnosed with everything up underneath the sun. I said, but obviously that's not what the problem was. I said, they diagnosed me with what they could diagnose me with, but this toxic chemical in my body is affecting every single body system I have. And I said, and, I get that. I said, so, yeah, my doctor diagnosed me with lupus because that was the first thing he could, relate my symptoms to. But that don't mean that's what it was. Yeah. And I said, and I'm okay with that too. I said, and honestly, I showed her like the pictures of my legs, what they looked like before. And I said, I had to heal myself. I said, and I did it myself. I said, so when I come in here, I've already talked to the doctor and told him, I don't need a bunch of pills that's going to cause me more problems. I don't need any injections. I need to be able to come in here and tell you what I need, and I need you to give me what I'm asking for. And she's like, oh, I said, because I said, honestly, I said, I've been dealing with this for over 20 years. I've fixed myself. I know how to do that. I said, and I don't need to be told, to try this and try that because it doesn't work out for me. It almost killed me. And she's like, oh, well, you know your body more than anybody else. And she's like, you're amazing. When I showed her the before pictures, she's like, oh my God, I can't even believe you survived that. I was like, yeah, and I told her, I said, honestly, I got so tired of them cutting on me and the stuff coming back. I finally just put my face in my hands and prayed to God, asked God to help me. And he told me, fight fire with fire. Started looking for everything that was hot. And I started telling her about the camphor. And I said, I was even ingesting camphor essential oil for years. She said, you did? I was like, yeah, I did. It got rid of a lot of the stuff that I had in me and was going on. And so she's like, you're so amazing. She's like, and your spirit, she said, you got the best spirit in this world. And she was so kind. And then she asked me, she said, would you consider some skin cancer screenings? And I said, why? I said, because I'm going to tell you, just like I told my doctor, I'm not getting a mammogram. I'm not getting a colonoscopy. I don't care if I got cancer in my body because obviously they've already scanned everything that's inside my body and it's not going to show any damn way. And even if it does, I'm not going to believe it. And even if it was there, I said, I don't want that thought in my head that I have cancer. And that if I don't do something about it, I die of cancer. I said, because guess what? I'm dying to live right now. I want to live right now. I said, I am so tired.
Die, unfortunately.
Yeah, dying to live or living to die. You got choices. And I choose to not have those thoughts in my head. I just don't want them there. I said, so, no, I do not want to have any cancer screenings. And listen to what she said. This was so cool. She said, well, no matter who we are, this was so cool. She said, I don't care what it is. we as individuals have the right to choose what and what not is put into our bodies. And
Hallelujah.
I was like, oh. So I knew
Hallelujah.
what she was talking about. No, and so anyway, so she gave me. She's like, "Well, I'll give you the clobetasol." She said, "And I'm going to give you 3 refills." So I got 3 refills on it. I don't have to scrape the bottom of the tube no more for a while. But anyway, and then she said, "I'm going to prescribe you this other natural stuff that's got essential oils and stuff in it." She said, "Because obviously prescription drugs don't work for you." She said, "And the clobetasol is like the highest topical steroid you can get." She said, "You don't want to use that for too long. And this other one is made out of peanut oil and essential oils." And she said, "What you can do is get it calmed down with the clobetasol and then go over it with this other one, which you just wet your skin and you put that oil on there." She said, "The water is the carrier. So it's like a moderate steroid, but it's more natural." And so she said that, her children have eczema and she gives
Okay.
it to her children. She uses it on her children herself. And so I was like, "Oh, thank you, God." It was just so amazing. And she was just, I mean, she was just in shock at what I look like and what I look like now. I showed her the one on my arm that was so huge, and it's like showed it to her now. I was like, yeah, I was like, I got battle scars. I said, but guess what? I survived. I'm alive.
Right.
I am alive. I did not lose my legs. I'm like,
Yeah.
so I was like smiling the whole time, just like I always do. And it was great. And so she gave me
We
3
do a
refills of
warranty
both.
always.
Oh yeah, and so I swear my knees was knocking together, and I mean, I don't care what anybody says. Every time I go to the doctor, no matter how empowered I am, I still, it still is traumatizing even for me. And so I was trying so hard to hold myself together because I was so I was so overjoyed with how they treated me and everything. I got to the front door, and no sooner than I opened the front door and got one step out, I just was like, I started crying, and I couldn't catch my breath.
Yes.
I started crying, and I was trying to not let them see me, and I'm trying to walk straight to get to my car because my husband's sitting there. And I get in, and I was like, he said, "Are you okay?" I'm like, he said, "Everything go okay?" I was like, "It went great." I was like, "It was great." And I told him, I said, I said, "Honestly," I said, "I'm crying because, yeah, it feels good to have doctors that I can talk to and trust in, and they get me." I said, "But really, my tears are
I
for
almost lost you.
all those people that don't." I was like, "This is so wrong what people are having to go through." And I was trying to explain it to him. I'm like, I was like, I said, "And that's why I do what I do. That empowers me because I am angry.
Amen.
People
Amen.
get treated that way,
Amen.
It's just so wrong." And so,
Get it right.
it took me a while to get myself together. I really did I cried pretty hard and I had a big meltdown. So, but I needed it. I needed a purge. I call it a purge. I purge.
Well, so is this one.
And then
Here. Not
there,
really.
getting some squelching.
Really there. Yeah, this is totally messed up right now.
Mm.
Can you still hear me?
I can
Somewhat?
hear you.
Good, because that computer just stopped working, so now I'm back to the phone.
Okay. Well, so anyway, I've been using that clobetasol. She could even said I could even use it on my face,
Mm-hmm.
and so I've been putting it on my face, and oh my God,
Big
it is
difference, huh?
breaking up all this crap here. I'm
Good.
like, oh.
I was excited when you called me and told me about that. I
I know.
remember getting some of my daughter's eczema cream at one time, and same thing. It seemed like I saw wonders the next day. But I did like you. I cut her tube open because it was back when we were trying everything. But I forgot all about that. And then you mentioned that, and I was like, holy cow! Short term memory, I guess, right?
Yeah. So,
So,
but
so you
it
feel
has
good
been
today
helping.
with it?
Well, I mean, it's getting better. It's still you can't hardly see. You can see the like up here. Up here, you can see the crap.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, you can see the redness up in there and all. And it is getting better. I mean, it's come a long way because I was so miserable the other day. I just wanted to die. I
I
was like,
bet.
this is horrible. It hurts so bad. And
What this in my forehead is doing. I got lots of makeup on right now, but it hurts. It feels like pressure. I can feel it pulling like in my teeth area, my brain area, my sinuses. I can't even explain it, but like regular people don't understand, I guess, but
yeah, yeah. Well, you're talking about that pulling sensation. I can tell you
yeah.
this. Like, a long, long time ago, see, I got like a little nest right here on both sides of my nose. But a long time ago, I touched my face and I felt something and I was like, ow. So, I get the mirror and I'm looking and I'm like, this was before I even knew about Morgellons. I was like,
Right.
I don't see anything, but I kept feeling it. So I got a pair of tweezers and I'm feeling around, every time I hit it, I was like, ow. So I finally got it in the tweezers and I start pulling and it was like, oh, I mean, it hurts so bad.
It
And I
hurts.
could feel it pulling back behind my eye. And I'm pulling this thing, right? And with every pull, it was like my whole body was trembling. I got it out probably about maybe like a quarter of an inch or so. And I was like, I'm looking at this thing. And I told my husband, I was like, oh my God, this is like, it looks like fishing line. It was so thick.
Right.
And he's like, oh, it's just an ingrown hair. I'm like, no, this
Not
is
hardly.
not. Well,
But
like I said, I,
that
I
is
didn't
the
even know
logical
about I
thing.
didn't know about Morgellons then, And
Yeah,
so
that would be the
kept,
logical thought.
right, I kept trying to like pull this thing, and it was hurting so bad. I was just trembling, and like I said, every pull, I got that thing pulled out of my face. Probably I don't know, 3 or 4 inches till I couldn't do it anymore.
Oh,
You
that's
know,
painful.
and so like I said, it's still here because I can touch it here and I can feel it underneath my skin deep. And so I'm really hoping this clobetasol stuff will like at least get it up to the surface and get this nest. It's a nest there.
So you did get some comfort out of it? Hold on, sorry. My mom is talking in the middle of a podcast. Sorry, guys. Very sorry. You, Mom.
Yeah, it is helping my face a lot, breaking this stuff up. My arm is like I said, it was very bad. It was like a 3rd-degree burn on my arm. And so it is getting better.
So, like, when you pulled it out, and this has just got me thinking, it was really long and just kept on coming, right?
Oh, yeah. And like I said, I
That's
didn't
what
even get it all.
yeah,
And that,
I've
that was
experienced
years
that. That's
ago.
awful.
That was probably a good 12, 15 years ago. And it's, like I said, it's still there. It's still there.
Really? Wow. Goodness.
Because I've known
So,
about Morgellons since like, what, like 2005
you've had it for a long time.
or 6 is when I found out about it, if I remember right.
Right. So, let me ask you this too, because there's a few of us that, and I know you also. Let's see. I don't know what's going on here. That's not working for me. It's not me. I don't want to talk with me. I want to talk
Well,
with
that's okay if we can still hear each other.
No, where are you? I can't find you at all.
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Not really. I can hear you, but I can't see you, and I don't want me up here.
There you go. I'm here. I see me. Hi, Trish. Hello.
I don't know what's going on. I had to like leave out of my mom's because the computer, you didn't notice, you did it like we're supposed to. I was in slow mo the whole time. Everything I said was delayed, or more delayed than what it usually is.
Yeah.
But I was going to ask you. So there's a lot of us that have the plant life issues, or the Bug's life, so to speak. I got the Bug's life going on. I can't help it. It's so beautiful. But I mean, you've experienced that as well, right? With the bug and plant life as well, because I know it seems like different regions, different places.
I tell you, the first thing, this was what made me go get a microscope. I borrowed somebody's microscope, but it was a tabletop old model where you put the slide up underneath, and there was no way to take pictures or record. But my arm was broke out really bad, and I was putting absorbing junior cream on my arm, and I had to put it on there like, I mean, it burnt like all get out. It was the cream. I just kept putting it on there because it was all broke out. And the next thing you know, like the skin and the stuff started coming to the surface, and then I started getting like the dead skin because the absorbing junior cream was like killing the stuff. So I had this like dead skin flakes on my arm, and I took a paring knife and a piece of newspaper, and I sat there and I scraped all that stuff off my arm, right? And I let it fall on the newspaper, and then I gathered a bunch of it up and I put it on the slide, put it up underneath the microscope. And like I said, it was one of the old tabletop models. And all I saw was like millions of just wings in that thing. No heads, no legs, nothing but wings. And I'm like, wow, man, that was crazy. And so that's why I was like, oh, this is crazy. So that was what made me go get my first scope that I could actually take pictures and record with after that, because I was like, that's not normal.
Oh, there you are. Okay. Can you hear me?
Yeah, did you hear the part about the wings?
Satan. I'm gonna blame Satan. I gotta blame Satan. I can see you, Candy. I can't hear you. And the funny thing is, I pulled out of my driveway, but that shouldn't affect my reception on any level because I'm on cell. And everything is working great a second ago, but not working great on the computer. So
did you hear what I was saying? Did you hear what I was saying about the
I'm going to try to exit out and then come back. Guys, bear with us, please, because I'm telling you, this is not something that we are trying to do, and it's not for lack of trying to fix the problem, because we have, like, obviously, we have tried so hard. So 1 second, don't leave.
It's been going off and on. She's had to like leave her mom's computer and go outside with her cell phone and just different issues.
Okay, hey, we're here. Yeah. I had to go out and then back in.
Yeah. Did you hear the part where I was talking about the wings out of my arm?
Yes.
Oh my God. Yes. And that's
I have a video of that.
Well, that's what made me go buy my my first microscope that I could actually take pictures and record. And I went to Hobby Lobby and got a little kid's microscope that had the USB plug on it, you know. And that was the first one
I have one like that now.
Yeah, I used a 40% off coupon, and I was like, man, I gotta be able to record this.
That's awesome though, and it works. By the way, guys, if you can't afford the expensive ones, that does work.
Yeah, it was a toy tabletop model.
There you go. Hey, whatever works though, because you can actually see a lot of stuff that you probably don't want to see, but it's there.
Yeah, and speaking of that, let me tell you what I found at Dollar Tree today. It's this probably like 8x10 magnifying sheet for $1.
I got one of those too. I know exactly what you're talking about, and I was trying to use that, but I couldn't see it very well on my scan. But it sure heck helped with my reading and like on the paper and stuff.
But if you hold your like arm or your leg up underneath a lamp and put it there, then you can see better.
Oh, that's a good idea. I didn't even think about that. I was just putting it over my skin. I'm like, it's blurry.
Yeah, or even over the sun, and you know.
That's a great idea. Because I did get one, and I do have one, and I kind of just do it to the side because I'm like, oh, this isn't working. So, you said in the plant life, like you talked about the wings. Have you had, like, because I have, like, I'm not lying, like the grass sticks, like weird stuff, but it's alive. And it's not your normal every day. It's just like a horrific sci-fi movie. And there are people listening to this that don't know about Morgellons will be like, they are cray-cray. I get it. I totally get it. I thought the same thing, but it's true. It's true. The end. So.
Well, and what blew me away about that was I don't understand how people can deny the GMO factor involved in this, because
right on their damn box.
My arm was broke out, and here I'm like, I dried all that crap off and I scrape it off, and like I said, there was no heads, there was no
Yeah.
antennas, there was no legs, just wings.
Now,
I'm
I've
like,
had the full bugs. I have had the full bugs, and I've had the full wings. The wings
well,
moving on their own.
I've had like what I call bug wannabes. You know, they're like
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
mutated.
They don't look normal. They do not
No,
look normal at all.
yeah, they're like mutated, and even
Yeah,
some
they
of the
look like
fibers
Morgellons
themselves.
heads or something. I can't even explain it.
Yeah, I've had like some of the fibers come out, you know, and they're like bundled up, and it's like you can see two eyes and like a snout and a
Yeah,
tail. I'm
big,
like, what
big,
the
big,
hell?
terrifying issue right there. Like, I mean, the first time it happened to me, I was like, what the freaking fudge is happening? I mean, I was literally like, am I losing my damn mind? Like, but I knew I wasn't, you know? It's like, I mean, I've been sane my entire life. In fact, I would like to claim that I was probably more sane than, anyone because I was very, I was savvy in school. I graduated top 10% of my class, National Honor Society. But that was a whole bunch of freaking lies, and that's for a whole nother podcast.
Hey,
But
listen,
yeah,
want to let you know since my husband's got me hooked up with this little fancy webcam and I got this big old monitor, I can see all the comments plain as day. So I can like greet
good
the
because I can't.
people. Yeah. So Gimme Brain is here and Sharon Johnson and Trish
Hi, Sherry.
So
I
I can
got
see
you.
everybody really good on this thing. My husband's like, oh, he's so kind, you know.
He is. George is like an amazing. He's like the Superman that every woman wants. I'm telling you. That's
What
awesome.
in
He's
the
just
hell,
such a good person.
what in the hell that it's put on our marriage? You know, I mean, all this crap we've had to go
Yeah, you
through.
had to, and he had to. You think about the other side too, with him having to go through it with you, like literally, and such an adjustment. And what a trooper! What a trooper! Is all I can say.
Oh, and I can't
Like
even
it is
tell you.
hard.
I can't even tell you how many times I went to the doctors and was pissed off and got in their face and everything. And I'd come home and he'd be like, "You need to stop this. They're gonna pack you away."
Yeah, and you're like, I ain't over my dead body, like literally. Yeah. But I mean, you're right to stand in your own truth, like you say. And I mean, I get it though from his side. I mean, my whole family still to this day doesn't believe me. I've
Yeah.
literally gone at this alone, and that's okay though. I've kind of accepted it because you can't like beat it in. Well, I could try, but like you can't really beat it into people. If they're gonna understand, they're gonna understand. If they're not, I guess they're not. But it doesn't like hurt any less. It hurts.
Well, I got to tell you a funny story. I was so miserable one time. Oh my God, I was in so much misery and I was hurting so bad and I was trying so hard, to get better. And so he of course he gets frustrated, and he was like, "Okay," he's like, "You need to go to the ER." I said, "I am not going to the ER." I was like,
Been there, done that. Got the T-shirts.
"Yeah, they're gonna pack me on the damn 8th floor." Okay, I'm not coming back from that. And
No, you don't come back from that.
so he tells me, he's like, "Well, you know what?" He said, "I could just take you and throw you over my shoulder and throw your ass in the truck and the damn ER." And
That's funny.
I said, "You know what?" I said, "Yeah, you could physically do that." I said, and
But I double dog dare you.
I said, and what's going to happen is they're going to pack me away and I'm going to be gone for a few days, but I will get out.
Not me.
I said, I will
I don't
get
want to
out.
be on here. I don't want to be on here by myself. Help me.
I said,
There
I
we
will
go.
get out.
There we're not.
Oh,
Lord
God.
have mercy on my soul. I swear I'm losing it. I'm losing both of us actually. So okay, let's just leave you up there. Like I mean, I'm like literally trying to avoid it like the plague, and then suddenly there I am. I'm like, yep, bullseye right between my eyes.
Oh, my God.
So
Well,
he's
and
gonna throw you over like a caveman, basically. You're the cave woman. Right? You should have going. You should have went his Halloween like that next year.
yeah, and then,
Like unga bunga, me take woman to ER. That's funny.
oh,
So yeah, he's been through thick and thin with you, and that is, I mean, literally, he deserves a medal because there are few and far between. I mean, actually, I could probably count them on one hand the people I know that have at least one person that supports them. But for the most part, the millions of us out there, don't have any type of support system. So what would you tell the people that are going at it alone? I mean, I've kind of figured it out, but like, what would be your advice to those that are going at it alone?
Well, I just, like I said, I mean, I just broke down and it just, I mean, I had a meltdown. I was crying. I couldn't breathe. And I told him,
Yeah.
I said, you know what? This is why it's so important for me to keep strong and keep doing what I do. This has never been about me. Me speaking out has never, ever been about
You
me.
betcha.
And I tell people before, I mean, if you're going to be able to understand and how to come to terms with what's going on and what's happening, you
Yeah.
gotta learn that, what, it's like your love for others has to be greater than your love for yourself. And I've told
Amen. You said it best. Sheila Renee, my friend, says the same thing, and I like so wholeheartedly. You just have to love them anyway. So, like we said, stand in your own truth and love them anyway, because you have to have that. The greater is the love for others than in yourself, and
well,
it's so true. So
and
true.
what I went through with the court systems and all that with my grandbaby and everything, and
Yeah,
all,
you
all,
went through a
all
lot.
my all my Morgellons friends was like, "Oh, you got to close out your Facebook. You can't be putting this stuff out there, and you
Not
can't
I
do
wish.
this." And I was like, "Hell no!" It took me years to be
Yeah.
able to come out of hiding. I said, "This is not pushing me back into hiding. I am not closing out my Facebook. I am not going private. I am not shutting up. And if they have to put me on the stand and I have to testify and this shit comes up, I'm going to handle it like a boss." And
Amen. I mean, I'm telling you what, I came out like a racehorse from the gates. I'm not even joking. I never once had any, like, never once was I thinking, I'm going to shut up. Like, the second I got this, I'm like, no, no, I am not shutting up. In fact, I'm going to scream louder. But I was always that kind of child, too. Like, if you told me I couldn't do something, I'd be like, sit down and watch me. Hold my beer and watch this shit, as I say. But didn't drink beer, so. But good for you, because like that's how it should be, guys. And I know it's terrifying. It's scary. You feel like you're alone, but you're not alone. You are not alone. The good Lord above is watching over you, and you got us.
and,
So
and
many of us. There's lots of us.
and I told you I had that one doctor. I had him for 13 years, and then I mean, the nurse tells me about Morgellons, and I'm like, okay, how
What's
am I
that?
supposed to talk to my doctor about this? And she's like, well, she's like, just go out on Facebook. There's got to be groups. So I didn't even talk to him about it for a couple of years, and then finally one day I told my husband, I said, you know what? I'm telling him. I'm talking to him about it. And
Good for you,
he's like,
and
you
good for
can't.
him too.
And he said, you can't. He's like, don't do that. You're going to lose your doctor.
Hold
The only.
my beer and what?
I was like,
Yeah.
the God's honest truth. I prayed for over a month on what to say the day I went to that appointment to talk to him, and that day kept getting closer and closer and closer. And I'm like, okay, wait a minute, God, where are you? You still hadn't told me what to say or how to do this shit. So that morning I got up and
I gotta say hi to Erica Fox. We got some more people on here commenting a lot. I love you guys. Okay, go on. I'm sorry.
But anyway, so the morning I got up to go to that appointment when I was going to talk to my doctor that I had for 13 years, I was like, okay, God, what happened? You still hadn't told me what to say yet. I'm not,
And I'll give you the words.
and,
You're waiting for them.
anyway, I
Call from Lana.
I let
Hi,
my
Lana.
husband.
Oh, whoops, not me. I mean you.
Let me get it. But
There you are.
so anyway, so I get to the appointment
Mom?
and I go in and I sit on the table and I'm waiting for the doctor to come in, and I still didn't know what to say. I'm still trying to figure out what I'm going to say.
Right.
And so I had no idea. And as soon as the door opened and he walked in, it was like,
came out.
whoops,
The Lord flooded your mouth with voice. That's awesome. Awesome. That's right here. There
Hey,
he
I can't
is.
talk right now. I'm doing my video thing.
Oh, hi, Lana.
Hey, call Dad, okay? All right, love you. Okay, so yeah. Anyway, so I was like, like I said, I was so upset, and I get up that morning. I'm like, okay, God, what happened? You didn't help me here. What is wrong with you? And then I was like, you just gotta stand in your own truth and just have faith and know that God is going to find a way.
Sister. Yes.
I really had no idea until that door opened, and he walked in the door. I was like, okay, here we go. It's on now.
Get on board because we're going for a ride. Okay. That's awesome. That's awesome, awesome. I'm so proud of you, and you have so much to be proud of, and so many out there have so much to be proud of. You guys should be proud of yourselves. Look at how far you've come. You're still here. You're not. You can't be broken. Can't be
Yeah.
broken, right?
Well, and that's why I tell people, you know what? We survived shit that would scare the hell out of you to even look at. Y'all
Yeah,
know.
like they don't even want to watch a scary movie like what we go through.
Yeah,
Like
I
this is terrifying.
sometimes when I try to show people pictures, it's like, I don't want to see that. Like, dude, I
Yeah.
survived this.
It's like you're well. Yeah, I get that all the time. Like, well, my sister, or like, well, all my family members, they shrug. My daughters, I understand my older daughter, but they, they're we're 30, 28. Either way, though, we want to save the grief from our children. I get it, but I'll show my sister. She's like, ugh, I don't want to see that. It's like, girl, you're gonna look, and you're gonna like it because here's the deal, Bill. I'm going through the horror story, and all you gotta do is look at it. So who's got the better end of the deal, you or me? Like, yeah, that'd be you. But
Yeah,
I think we got a lot of comments, Candy. I don't know if you can read some of them because I can
yeah,
hardly see without a magnifying glass.
I will. Hold on.
Okay.
Okay. Let me see if I can scroll up to the top. Oh, wait a minute. Gotta cut the keyboard for that, I think. I don't know with this.
And then we got Erica Fox and Sharon, and
Um,
there's several others, but I can't read the names.
all right, hold on. Let me see.
I got Gellens in my eyes. I got Gellin eye. Kind of like stink eye, but Gellin eye.
The top one I see, it says, "Gimme brain, fibers that are replicating and forming to your nerves, veins, and vessels, etc." Erica Fox says, exactly right. Gimme brain, only home remedy I can suggest unless you have the money for other equipment or access to wave devices to attack yourself for a short spurt at high rate, which you can handle, but these.
Okay, so I'm going to tell you, I go out and I grab the electric fence for our cattle almost on a daily basis, but do not try that, okay? But I do it. I do. So, kind of works.
Erica Fox says, preach it, glory be to God.
Amen, sister.
She said, treated me like a psycho, felt awful, but I took evidence. Nurse was like, oh my goodness, it's moving. Thank you, Lisa. Love and hugs.
Yay, at least somebody got to actually see and look, like the nurse, like,
oh,
thank you, nurse, for actually looking.
Yeah, I hadn't even showed my dermatologist and that nurse practitioner, that one that reacts to the sci-fi music. I can't wait to show him that one. Or my primary.
That thing was dancing around. It was like literally break dancing. I felt like I was like Michael Jackson Thriller video for 2 seconds.
Yeah,
like, that thing was getting down with it.
Yeah, I haven't shown my primary doctor that one either. But, it's like you got to slowly work them into this stuff, because they got to be able to.
I haven't worked any of mine into anything in Texas. They're all like, you crazy? We're going to lock you away for 3 days, take your child away, take you away. You can't even have a Snickers bar or Pepsi Cola if you want one. You're welcome. And that's the truth. So Texas is a whole different ball game, though. Like, I mean, it's not rocket science. They think they're their own little country, and yes, I live here. But they also think that everything's black and white, and there's a bunch of gray, folks. So much gray. There's gray everywhere.
Gimme Brain says, I attended a recent autopsy of one who thought they purged fibers, but once the sores went away due to a remedy, they did not attack fibers. His whole body was wound to where it is terrifying. Yeah, and that's
an autopsy?
Well, what I did was I drank.
Talking about an autopsy. That's crazy. I've wondered about that.
Well, I drank camphor essential oil for years. And I told the dermatologist
we've done a lot of things we shouldn't.
Yeah, because what happened was, it was the camphor items was what was helping me the most topically. So I took a blue fiber and a red fiber, and I took some camphor essential oil, and I put them jokers in that camphor oil and let them soak. I went back a little while later, and it's like, oh my God, the red one had it was faded, and it was had pink spots and clear spots through it. And then the blue one had faded and had clear spots and light green spots in it. And I was like, you know what?
I've had that. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, it melts this crap, man. And I was like,
DMSO does the same thing to that. DMSO guys.
Well, and then all you have to do, like I said, is you get a red fiber, you get a blue fiber, and you pick whatever oil you want or whatever, your DMSO or whatever you want to do, and put them in there, and you
put
do
them in
your
that little jar, air it out, or make it airtight, and you would be shocked what you see, too.
Oh,
I wanted to mention, Candy, too. A lot of people ask, like, well, what do you use? And you and I both know that there's no one in particular remedy because they're smart and they adjust. But one thing
Yeah.
I can say to alkalize your body is I have always taken like a teaspoon. Actually, when I remember, because it's short-term memory, But a teaspoon of cream of tartar. Literally. I mean, I started out like 2 times a week, and then I went to daily. And not a teaspoon, I'm sorry, a quarter of a teaspoon of cream of tartar. I am not a doctor. Do not try this at home. I do not want to be sued. I have no money. I mean, literally, I have a child you can have.
I'm
She's
not,
16. You
hey,
don't want
I'm
her.
not, I'm not telling you what to do. I'm telling you what I
What
do.
I did. Yeah, exactly. I didn't drink. Well, I did actually. When you told me the other day, well, I'm gonna go drink some camphor right now. But I'm telling you, like, we're desperate. We're trying. I'm like, guys, I'm on C60 Purple Power right now. So I don't know if you guys are familiar with C60 Purple Power. It's a big deal. It's carbon 60. I'm gonna let you know how it goes. I've been on it for 1 week, and I'm not gonna lie. I feel a little more energetic and not as lethargic as I typically feel. I still have some brain fog. I think it's a little more clear. It's iffy. But if I'm saying that, then it's probably a little better. I mean, I don't know. But so carbon 60, purple power, I'm on right now. I'll let you guys know how that goes. So Candy, who else? I'm seeing comments flying right and left, but I literally am like blind as a dingbat.
Okay, it says autopsies seem like these things could take total control. Yep.
Heck yeah,
And
they
then
already have.
Erica says, I have to go grocery shopping. Love you all. Thank you. Lisa, so
Love you,
much. Keep in
Erica.
touch. Yeah, I blew one out of my ankle. That was Erica. And then she says, what is that? I don't know what she's talking about when she said, what is that?
Oh, probably cream of tartar, maybe?
Uh,
Oh, or camphor. Probably
uh,
camphor.
oh, I don't know. But I tell you, like I said, I was taking that camphor essential oil. I was taking it twice a day. And I was taking like 2 drops in the morning, 2 drops at night. Did that for a couple of
Yeah.
months. Then went to 3 drops in the morning, 3 drops at night, mixing it with water, drinking it. And I got up to like about 4 drops in the morning, 4 drops at night. And so next thing you know, I mean, all my fibers started like clearing out of my body. And that's when I had those gobs. I mean, I had gobs of fibers. And
Like cobwebbed kinds, dude. Have you seen the
oh
cobweb
yeah,
ones?
yeah,
Crazy.
yeah. That was, I mean, insanity. You've seen them, all those fibers that poured out of my
Heck
leg.
yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
And I'm
Your
like,
leg was mind blowing. Like I'm not even joking. Like I have Morgellons, but when I saw your leg, I was like, this is not real. This can't be happening. I mean, I knew it was real, but it was terrifying and it was like ungodly. It was unbelievable.
well, and that's what gets me. Like I said, the new Morgellons ordered 501c3 nonprofit says, oh,
Yeah.
well, the fibers are microscopic. Well,
Yeah, you
bull
can't see the wings or the dingbats out. Yeah, my ass, because none of mine, like, well, I'm not saying none of mine because there's plenty, but none of mine are microscopic that I have pulled from my body. I can put my pinky nail up to some. I can put my whole entire finger up to some of those fibers and more.
So
So
what
that shit hits it.
that does is it makes us look like we're self-implanting
Yeah,
that stuff.
they're not helping us. They are literally purposely planted here to like make us look delusional. They're like, yeah, we admit that there's this thing called Morgellons, but it's just parasitic, it's just fungus, it's all real, it's all scientific,
So
it
it's a
exists, but it's all
tick-borne one.
microscopic. They're hurting us. They're like literally people like me, like you, and so many others. They're not your friend. They weren't here to help you. Charles E. Holman is a freaking whole man. Not. Okay? He is not a whole man. Like that is a bad group, guys. Just mark my words. They're hurting us. They're hurting us. That's why we look delusional, because they won't support the truth.
And they don't mind saying that either. We're
Oh,
just a
hell
bunch of
no.
nutcases.
Yeah.
And,
Oh, I mean, it was the new Morgellons order at one time instead of the Charles E. Holman. Like, can
right.
you
And then
put 1+1 = 2? 1+1 = bad people.
well, and then to even say that, anybody that believes in the nanotech or the GMO doesn't really have Morgellons.
Yeah, they're full of it. And that Skin Deep movie, you guys, that did not help us. That hindered us. We look even more crazy now. They didn't tell any of the truth. They like literally didn't help us, but they're sure collecting a lot of moolah from it. Like, let me tell you, the
And you
movie
know what?
made millions. The freaking
I got
Charles E. Holman Foundation makes millions on our freaking grief.
I got a quote for them. It's called "Half truths are still a lie."
There you go. Or like in their case, probably like not truth, because it's New Morgellons order still at the end of the day. And that is no different than New World Order. Come on, 1+1 = like them. So it's not rocket science. It's really not. And so many, and I've talked to like hundreds of people that realize this all on their own. Like without, people like you and I educating them, they're just like, there's something off here. And then they'll call me up and say, what is this? And I'm like, yeah, you're right. You're totally right. It's bad, bad, bad. And when you go down to the CDC and you're like, we want help. Come on now. If you guys haven't figured it out, the CDC is not on your side. They are part of a bloodline and they are here to harm. They are not your friends. And the people down there marching, that's just a glorified glory hog. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. But I mean, I would love to go march on that aspect, but I'm not going to sit there and say it's microscopic. I mean, I'll march, but you know what? They're evil. They're evil. I'm going to march here, now, and every day on every level, not just like, well, I'm going to go get on my private jet and fly over there and I'm going to let them know, and then I'm going to go back home and do nothing. Not how it works, guys. Sorry, I had to rant. So I had to rant.
Yeah, it's a ranting opportunity here.
Right? It's my channel. I'm going to rant if I want. I'm just kidding. It's candies in my day. We're going to just do, it's candy day.
Oh,
No, I
Lord.
mean, I'm sorry, but it is truth and it is frustrating. And when I say mean things, sometimes I will. Sometimes I'm going to say not nice things. And it's not because I'm not a nice person. It's because I am a human and I broke down and I had a moment and I'm just speaking truth at the end of the day with a little bit of dripping sarcasm and anger. That's all. That's all it is.
You know, you can look, like you can see these scars on me, how deep they are.
And how dare them insult you for that, you know?
Yeah. How dare you sit there and say that I must not have Morgellons?
It's belittling. It's ridiculous. It's literally a hate crime. I'm sorry, but it's no different than a hate crime.
But you're creating a safe space for everybody.
And not like I said, they're collecting thousands from vulnerable individuals like you and I, and so many out there that just come out with it and they like start looking for answers, and that's the first thing that pops up. People, it's popping up first for a reason. It is popping up first because they want your dollar bill, dollar, yo. I mean, they are not your friends. They're not ever going to be your friends. They're banking on your grief. They're banking on your grief, your pain, your emotional, spiritual pain. They're banking on. Don't support them. I told you, and I made the mistake the first year I came down with this. I had all my birthday money. I'm like, just please donate to the Charles E. Holman Foundation. I did it. I was one of them. I did it. And now I'm just like, disgusting mother truckers. Like, literally. It's awful. It's not fair. It's not okay. But it's all right. In the end, no matter what, no matter how hard we hurt, no matter how bad we cry, no matter what we do, where we go, we still win at the end of the day. And we're going to win this. I mean, it's been written. We're going to win this war. It's a spiritual battle. It's an emotional battle too. Battle. But it's so many types of battles. But at the end of the day, there's just a handful of us that have troopered through. We warriored up, and we're going to win the battle because, like I said, it's been written, and there is no lose in this game. Just be glad you're spitting it out. Everybody else is harboring it. I mean, it's all around us. I can look at my family members and see it all over them. I can see their thinking process and see that they are thinking differently or not thinking. Or, I mean, I'm not saying everybody's affected so badly, but everybody's affected. You can't help but not be. It's everywhere. It's everywhere. It's in the GMOs, genetically modified. What candy was that?
Genetically modified organisms.
Yeah, and so many don't know and didn't know what that meant. I always knew. I don't even know how, but that's what it is, guys. I mean, they're alive. They have been modified, and they're living organisms. They're alive.
Yeah, and one of my friends told me,
tree you laid an egg from.
One of my friends told me she went to the hospital and asked them, you know, she's in the cafeteria and asked them if they had any non-GMO food, and they were like, "What is that?" This is the hospital cafeteria.
I'm sorry for laughing.
I was like,
I'm sorry. I mean, but you know what? They have dumbed us down as a society. They really have. I mean, I was obviously there, so I can't preach too much on that level, but it's sad.
Well,
So
and
sad.
you know, I think I told you about the time I was posting like in my neighborhood group about Morgellons and GMOs and stuff, and oh my God, the whole damn neighborhood come out and attack me aggressively, and There was just
Yeah, that's bull crap.
one lady that came to my defense, right? And I was like, okay, I'm out of here. Anybody wants to send me a friend request, just send me a friend request. So this one
Oh my
lady,
gosh, thank goodness you had someone though come to your defense. That's crazy. Like, good for her.
but I got to tell you the funniest part about it, right? So a month or two later, I'm at the damn grocery store, and there's this lady standing there looking at the Cheerios, trying to figure out which one she wants to buy.
God.
And I said, she's like, well, I just don't know which ones. There's so many. I said, well, those things are genetically modified, don't you? And she's like, what is that? I was like, here, let me show you on the side of the box. And I said, right up underneath the nutritional facts, it tells you. And so she starts reading it. She's like, I never heard of that. What is that? I was like, genetics is the DNA. Modifying is changing. Organism is any living thing. And so I turn around, I look, right? And there's like 20 or 30 people standing around. 20 or 30 people standing around me in the aisle listening to me explain this to this woman. And
that was awesome though that happened, and you educated a group of people that day that literally you probably saved their life on a level or two that you don't even realize. So
well, and so I get like I walked away and I got a couple aisles over, right, and this chick comes running up behind me. She's like, excuse me. She said, isn't your name Candy Nelson? And I was like, yeah. She said, yeah. She's like, I live in your neighborhood. Said,
so that was the girl.
It was one of them anyway.
Oh, the girl was the one that was looking at the box of Cheerios, right?
That was somebody that was standing on the sidelines, was listening to me talk to this other woman.
That's awesome, though.
And then even my mail lady back then, she come out and just went after me and everything. And so I waited. This is so funny. I waited one day. So I had these like gobs of fibers pouring out of my arm, right? So I'm sitting here watching from the house and watching the mailbox. The mail lady comes and I'm like, I grab my keys, I go out and I jump in my vehicle, right? And I go chase her down. I'm flashing the lights, blowing the horn. So she pulls over thinking I got mail that I missed.
I love it.
She pulls over, she rolls the window down. I walk up to her window and I shove my arm right in her face.
God, good for you. I'm like, does this look like a freaking joke to you, bitch? Wow, that's awesome. You are so funny. Like, I love it. That's kind of how I handle it too. But I mean, it's hard to handle it like that. But when you get to a certain point, and you've had it so long, and I'm like, you get so over it, right? You're just like, no, that's not gonna happen today, not tomorrow either.
And she was like, man, her mouth dropped, her eyes are wide open, and she's got these fibers sticking out of my arms, shit, right in her damn face.
Does this look fake to you? God, I love it though. Good for you. I mean, good for you for being brave and being a warrior and helping others, because this is what we got to do, guys. If we don't preach it and speak it and we don't talk about it, it's not going to do anything. We're not going to go anywhere. And even if we never get to the bottom of it or go somewhere that's going to help per se, at least we know that we died trying. And not only that, we know that we still made progress because we literally did everything we could that God would want us to do and command us to do, as it sits. So be proud of yourselves. And I promise you, though, there is a reward at the end of this. And your life is going to be free and all yours one day. And maybe it's not here. It doesn't have to be here. But it'll be again. And it will be real. And it'll be big. And it'll be precious. And you guys are all precious. That's for dang sure. And Candy, you are just freaking precious and amazing. And I love you so much.
Well, what's funny is, like, my Facebook page is public, is open to the public. So when I get friend requests from, like, local people or people that I shoot on my pool league with, I'm like, I get nervous and I'm like, do I accept them or not? Because, I personally know these people. Yeah. And then I thought, well, you know what? My damn Facebook page is public. It's their responsibility. It's their responsibility to check to see if they want to be my friend. And if it's a friend request, then guess what? It's game on. I'm accepting it.
Yeah. I literally accept every friend request. And everyone's like, you got like 7,000 something friends on your page. I'm like, they're like, you don't even know that many. I'm like, I don't have to know them. If they request me as a friend, I'm going to accept it because that's my opportunity to educate their asses. So, and it is. And trust me, some have left or defriended. That's okay. Those are the friends I didn't need.
Yeah,
But
I
truth
don't
be
accept
told, I
anybody.
mean, we're
Well,
making a dent.
I don't accept just anybody. It's people that I know locally that I physically
Yeah,
know, and then
that's good.
people that are speaking out. Like a lot of times they send you a friend request because you have mutual friends in common. But if I
Yeah.
go to their page and all I see is kitty cats and dogs, it's like, what I need you on my Facebook for? I don't.
I'm
You
sorry.
know,
I like kitty
no,
cats and dogs too, but I want a real person that's got real heart, real spirit, real
yeah.
emotions, and real interest. I mean,
Or all you see is their
so
profile
vacant
picture.
now.
Well, all you see is their profile picture and nothing else. Can't see nothing
Yeah.
else.
I want to be
Why?
your friend, but you can't see anything in my world or my life. So, yeah,
Why? What's the
totally
point?
get that. Well, the point is, there is a lot of trolls out there, too, because I have had some weird things, and I got some stuff I haven't even told you about, Candy. I had a man that lives in New York somewhere. I tracked him down, trying to, like, trace the number. But, I mean, for 3 years, I got
Yeah,
these
I
phone
can see.
calls.
Tell me about him.
Yeah.
I,
Oh, did I? Okay. Yeah. It was. I mean, I
I
still have
actually have
every
a
voicemail
voicemail.
saved. He's like, "I am Yahweh," or "You're an
Yeah,
archangel and you fell from heaven." I mean, all these things that he told me. And I mean, this was before I had Morgellons. Like, I was like, "What is?" I finally blocked him because it was quite terrifying. And then I came down with Morgellons, and then it was weird because one day I was walking through a parking lot, a plane flies over because you always get either the helicopters or the planes. And I know people that have Morgellons, you got to notice this. You're always going to hear a plane in the distance or over you or a helicopter or something. Don't know why. Don't have the answers. I'm not here to say, yeah, I know they have so many helicopters fly around to do this all. That's not the point of this at all. It's because I don't think they're really helicopters or that's a whole nother ball game right there. But the point is, one day I was walking through a parking lot in Sugar Land, Texas, not where I live, not anywhere close. I was doing a job. I had to run into Walmart, and this thing flies over me, plane, whatever. And next thing you know, I get a phone call, and I don't answer it because it's that same number. And the voicemail says, don't you know how you look whenever you're, so many miles up above the earth and the sun becomes a squint in your eye and you look like a can't remember exactly how it went, but basically he somehow saw my every move, everything I was doing, even inside of Walmart because I happened to stop at the McDonald's inside. I had my daughter with me because it was a day it was summer when she was out of school, so she went with me to work. And he told me exactly what I ordered, exactly who was standing next to me. And this man lives in New York. He is a district attorney or something, or an attorney for the district attorney, or the. I mean, he's high up there, and I've got all the info on it. But it was freaking creepy, scary. So there's some weird things that go along with this Morgellons disease. That's how I've always said. Like, I think all these phenomenons, it's all one thing. I mean, I just really believe that because when we have Morgellons, all of a sudden we're privy and awake to all these other things. But I mean, I was receiving these phone calls before I ever knew I had Morgellons. So that tells me, I've had Morgellons probably much longer than I ever thought, like more like 15 years.
oh yeah.
Not according to his phone calls, but according to things that happened and things I noticed on my body or weird, strange things.
Yes.
I mean, I probably had it 15 years. So
Oh yeah, and even like I said, I mean, I've had it for a long time, but I remember years ago, it's like I blow my nose and I'd be like, "What is that blue fiber?" Or I'd go
yeah,
to change my pad, and this was years and years ago. And
yes.
why is that blue fiber thing in my pad? Why is that in my toilet paper where I just wiped?
Yeah, well, yeah. Well, I lived in New Mexico, and that's where like the first chemtrails really ever got noticed, like big time, was in New Mexico. And I remember being like 8, 9 years old, laying on the floor in our living room, where the big like glass sliding door was, and the sun was beaming through. And I'd have like an Afghan or something over me, and the Afghan, when it would be shaken or whatever, these weird little fibers would come out. And I remember trying to catch them because they were flying around on their own. They were moving in their own different directions. They never landed. It's like, and then I would try to catch them. They'd move, like they'd fly away really fast. And I'm thinking, this is weird. And my mom's like, it's just dust, And I'm like, dust with a mind. So, I mean, if you think about this has probably been going on for years and years. Because that would have been in the late 70s or early 80s.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well,
no, it would have been the late 70s because in the early 80s I was like in junior high. So,
I told you about my grandfather used to I mean, he was a freak, but anyway, he would travel to New Mexico and stuff, and he would go. um, like do mountain climbing and stuff. Some of
Yeah.
Mount Rainier or whatever they call it, but he was always like going and out doing things because that was the way he got away with his deviant behavior was traveling.
Yeah, he'd go
And,
out in the middle of nowhere. Yeah.
yeah, and so my mom told me after he passed, I wasn't very close with him at all because he was like sexual.
Yeah. Yeah. You told me, man, girl, you like
Yeah, but
dealt with
anyway,
that.
so she told me after he passed that they did an autopsy on him and they found all these strange fibers in his lungs. And this was before I knew about
What?
Morgellons. Yeah.
They found so that literally they saw them and found them. Wow.
Yeah. And
See,
but
that's
they
what I mean right there. Like everybody's got to have it to some, and then they call cystic fibrosis. The fiber word is in there. Fibromyalgia or fibrom. What's that called?
myalgia. Fibroid.
Myalgia. I got Morgellons on the brain, like literally.
Hey, and fibroid tumors.
Yes, fibroid everything. There's fibrista, like fibros everything. That's telling you right there that the doctors are, well, I mean, the ones I don't know, like I think they're given a script or they have to go off the screen, but they know, they're aware of this. They know what the hell's going on. They know the autoimmune disease or autism or like my dad's like coming down with Alzheimer's. My grandma has Alzheimer's, died of Alzheimer's. I mean, it's like all these things they didn't just come about overnight. Like this has been going on for a while because when you get your wires crossed in your brain, such as autism or in the exonations, the roller up your sleever or the jab, as some people call it, it has these things in it. I mean, like it's a no-brainer. They have dumbed us down. They have rewritten our history. They have lied to us from the get-go. I mean, if you look around, like we had a big mud flood. I mean, we have all these beautiful buildings with the architecture that is just undistinguishable. Like they don't compare to anything we have to this day. We still don't have architecture like that. And if you look at these buildings, you can tell that they're half buried, where the streets are like going one way. There's like windows buried half, like a bottom level that are like not even like the doorways. They gotta have like steps leading up. I mean, there was a mud flood. I mean, the whole history in our world was rewritten. And Morgellons is, I believe, is the head, that's the culprit in all of this. There's something else to this. And I'll be damned, I'm going to figure it out. I'm working my butt off trying to figure it out. But, I mean, I'm doing the math at the same time. But in the meantime, we need to, like, warrior up and be, like, definitely encouraging our fellow brothers and sisters that have Morgellons and that are going and experiencing all of these things. We need to encourage them. Speak up, speak out, stand up, be awake, be alert. Don't stop fighting. Don't stop, speaking up about, what what you believe. And it's going to suck. It's going to suck bad. It's going to suck so bad. But it's okay because at the end of the day, who really sucks are those at the end of the other side that they don't believe. Excuse me. I don't even think that they don't want to believe. I think those fibers are like our minds, our brains are like a circuit board, right? So, but those fibers connect and they're electromagnetic, so they connect them.
We lost Lisa. I don't know if y'all can still hear me. Oh, there you go. She's back.
Like, I don't know if I'm here or not.
You're here.
So, long story short, that's a whole different podcast, plural. But I mean, the fibers with your grandfather, there you go. There you go. Like, that was years ago. And if they found that in him, people doing surgery, these doctors doing surgery, they got to know and see this stuff. They do. So.
Yeah. Well, and I told you what happened with me the last time I let them do surgery on me.
All evil right there.
Yeah. My doctor sent me to a plastic surgeon. My doctor sent me to a plastic surgeon. They did surgery on both my arms and my leg in 4 places on my right leg. All at one time. They sedated me. Okay. The wounds on my legs my right leg was so big, I had a wound vac attached to the damn thing afterwards. And so when they released me from the hospital, I left there with gauze wrapped around my arm, right? My left arm, I'm sorry, my left arm. I had that big lesion. I left there with gauze wrapped around my arm after the surgery. they told me, give me some saline solution. Say, clean this with saline, at nighttime before you go to bed, redress it. I take the gauze off. I had these dead gum cobalt blue fibers sticking out of my arm, like 3 inches long. And I called my husband. I was like, look at this. He's like, oh, that's probably just from your clothes. I was like, no, this was wrapped from the time I had the surgery till now. Okay, this is not from my clothes. And he's like, oh, well, that's probably just stitches. I was like, oh, nope, stitches are black. They're not blue. Okay? I was like, these are not stitches. They dissolve.
Right.
And I'm like, so that was the first really thing where we both
that's
idea.
Oh, sorry.
So, no, that's okay. So, I was like, yeah, I'm here. So it just like after I found out about Morgellons, I wanted to like go back and make an appointment with that plastic surgeon and say, hey, the hell was that? I mean, you did the surgery and you had to have seen a lot more in there than what was out of my arm. The next night they released me.
Exactly right. And see, I think doctors, like, their hands are tied.
Yeah.
Some of them, I think, like, all seeing eye so freely and know about that, but podcasts also, I think some of their hands are tied, like, they make money and make a living, and they have family, they have to look at that screen and go by the screen prompts, put it, the they're going on with the patient, and it, you know what I'm trying to say, man, that brain fog is but, like, they have to go by the screen prompts. And then there's others, I know there's others that the doctors will be for this, and there are, because I've watched, videos on it. But it's sad. It's sad because, well, Satan is the ruler and the leader of principalities of evil in the air, and he is all around us, and he did not die in that great flood. He did not die. He is here and ever so present. He's the great magician. And you guys do not close your eye, sleep with one eye open, because he's waiting to attack, and he's attacking. But we need your vocals. We need your words. We need your bravery. Because we're here for a reason, a purpose. We're here for more than one season. So.
Well, and you know what they say, too, that, like, a lot of times is...
All right, dear. Anything else?
Can you hear me? You're going in and out on me. I think I lost you. Huh?
I hear you now.
Hello.
Can you hear me?
Okay.
I'm here.
So
can you hear me?
but yeah, I hear you. I can hear you.
Okay, good. All right. I'm like having a freaking attack.
Morgellons.
Are you there?
There's Morgellons.
Yeah, Morgellons. I mean, that came out of nowhere for real. That was just like a ton of bricks. Okay, so what were you saying?
No, I was saying that. Oh, I don't even know. Now I even forgot. But
well, you're talking about doctors.
I don't remember, to be honest with you. I don't. Brain fog, hell.
I know, it's bad. And I'm sorry, because I totally stopped that with my coughing or Morgellons and disappearing.
Yeah.
I was talking about how
You going in and out, if you can hear me.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now.
Okay. Yay. Okay. Something's trying to kick us off of here, but I've got like 4 flying objects above me as we speak, so. I mean, they're probably just drones or airplanes, so, But there are 4 of them just hovering, so whatever. Okay. And no, like, I'm not making that up. It's just the same as Morgellons. When I say it's real, it's real. It's happening. They're a bunch of flying Morgellons, Candy.
Yeah.
Anyways, okay, well, I'm sorry that you lost your train of thought. I'm sure I didn't help when I disappeared and started coughing. So,
No, I'm
all right,
tired.
dear. Well, maybe we'll cut it short since I feel like I keep breaking up too because my voice is delayed or something. I can hear that. Well, not short. I mean, we've made it lengthy, but I just want to encourage everyone to come back and stick with us. And, like they say, people only hold their attention span if, the podcast is going right, got the microphones and sing and blah, blah, blah. Screw that. Screw what the norm is. Screw what people say and how it's got to be. And, just keep your attention span where it should be and just stick with us because we're speaking truth here. We're like literally here to help and here to speak good things and not put up with bad things. And I know the podcast might be not be perfect, but it's not for lack of trying. It's not for us not getting our computers out and trying. And you saw us do this so many times. Satan is a bad person, like I said, but it's not going to stop us. And please don't let it stop you from tuning into us. And anything else, Candy? Because I just go on and on, I guess.
No, I'm really tired. The weather's been bad here. It's got my hips and my back hurting me really bad. So I'm like,
Oh, that's here too. It got cold all of a sudden. So, well, I pray that you get some relief. And go tell George to say, give me a massage. George, she needs a massage. All right, dear. Well, I love you and thank you so much for always being here for all of us and everybody. And I will talk to you. Well, I'll talk to you real soon, but we'll be back next Friday, guys.
all right. Good night, everybody.
Bye, guys. Love ya. Love you all.